I was looking at this article. Article came here via TDA. Patrick Dow put the story out here, and it's about how CBS, I guess he's a draft expert, Pete Prisco saying that Tua doesn't have the fire in the belly in order to succeed in the NFL. He's a guy that is a draft expert, I guess, for the Miami Dolphins. And, of course, he talked about how the hip issue, the hip injury with Tua that's now completely healed, he's been approved to go out there, start working out, start throwing the football again. But according to Prisco, he seems to think that, Tua's team, Tua's party, the people that Tua is in the circle with, they're saying that, his hip is fine, his hip is good to go, there's nothing wrong, we're all ready to put this thing in action here. But on our end, on the Miami Dolphins end, the Dolphins don't know. The Dolphins haven't heard anything. The Dolphins have been given the green light, the okay to know that Tua's hip is in the prime perfect condition. So he's looking at this more so of risk than reward in terms of Tua. And he even gave the potential draft grade a C if the Dolphins were to go out there and take Tua Tagovailoa with the 5th overall pick. Well, here's my thought here to one Pete Prisco of CBS. Tua Tagovailoa is somebody that is very adaptable. He can make it work in any type of a situation. Joe Burrow had to have everything right for him to have success. Everything had to be right. Burrow had to have the right passing game coordinator, enter Joe Brady. He had to have the right group of receivers, the right running back, the right tight end, the right everything. Because prior to Joe Brady, what was Joe Burrow for real? All right? He was a 6th-round quarterback prior to Joe Brady. Because in 2018, he had the same touchdown to interception ratio as A.J. McCarron from A.J. McCarron's redshirt sophomore year at Alabama, that being 2011, of 16 touchdowns to 5 picks. 6th-round draft pick is Joe Burrow without Joe Brady. He had to have the right and perfect situation, and everything had to be peaches and cream like the R&B song. Unlike Tua Tagovailoa, who went through 3 different offensive coordinators. He said, you know what? You give me Brian Dable, 2017, my freshman year, that's fine. I'll come off the bench, win a national championship. You give me the combination of Mike Locksley with Josh Gaddis with Dan Eno sprinkled in as quarterback coach in 2018. That's all gravy. I'll throw for 3,966 passing yards, 43 touchdowns, and be an All-American and a runner-up to the Heisman Trophy and win a host of individual accolades. That's fine. And then, of course, this past season, Tua had Steve Sarkisian as the offensive coordinator, and if not for a hip injury, he definitely would have won the Heisman Trophy in 2019, seeing how he had 33 touchdowns to just 3 picks. So to one Pete Prisco of CBS, I rebuttal with this. Tua has shown he's adaptable. He can make it work in any type of a situation. He is a transcendent talent at the quarterback position. And on top of all of this, he has worked with the best medical staff. And if Dr. Kane, if Dr. Lyle Kane, if Dr. James Andrews, and this entire Alabama staff has said Tua is making this full recovery and he's going to be set to go, any NFL team in that top 10 is going to pull the trigger and say, I'm taking Tua Tagovailoa every day of the week, because I've seen him eat up SEC defenses through a 3-year span. But 205-448-1358, folks, the number to call in to be on In My Own Words, the podcast, 205-448-1358. You can also text with that number, leave a voicemail with that number. Also, if Twitter is your thing, you can tweet the show directly at In My Own Words TDA. That's at In My Own Words TDA. You can tweet me directly at Coaching M. Smith on Twitter. That's at Coaching M. Smith. But the number again, 205-448-1358. Just wanted to kind of give my thoughts here on this article from Pete Prisco. Just do not completely believe that Tua's got the fire in the belly to get this thing done in the NFL. But We're going to go to our next break here. When we get back, dive into more Crimson Tide football conversation right after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Back inside this action, ladies and gentlemen, in my own words, the podcast, hottest show of the streets, best form of Crimson Tide football news, notes, and information here with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, and just continuing the start on, CBS's Pete Prisco thinking that Tua no fire in the belly to succeed in the NFL. And this just kind of burns me up because this is somebody that is the ultimate competitor. This is somebody who plays through pain. So he definitely has the fire in the belly if he's willing to play through pain, which he has done or which he did throughout his entire career in Alabama. We're looking at someone and we're discussing someone of whom all-time leader in Alabama history for passing touchdowns with 87, all-time leader in Alabama history in total touchdowns with 96, 7,442 passing yards, over 7,000 yards offensively for his entire career. This is somebody that changed the game when you look at Alabama football. This is somebody who changed the game in terms of how you think about the Crimson Tide, how you perceive about the Crimson Tide, how you feel about the Crimson Tide. Everybody loves Tua. If you sit there and think of a way to not love Tua, then people consider you as a monster. So he completely changed the entire gamut of not just Alabama football, but college football. And then, here's the gist here, people. I understand the whole risk thing of you drafting him thinking that, okay, what if the hip doesn't work out? Or what if he takes that big hit and it's a career-ending big hit? So while I can see where Pete Prisco is coming from, at the same time, I also see you draft Tua in the right situation. You draft Tua, or a team drafts Tua where it has a strong offensive line, veteran offensive line, proven offensive line, and a team that's got the pieces around him at running back, at wide receiver, at tight end, and most importantly, you have the offensive coordinator that can work with Tua, that can collaborate with Tua, and most importantly, can put him in situations to be effective, to be in attack mode. There is no doubt in my mind that you take Tua. I'm not drafting Joe Burrow over Tua just off of one good year. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it. But we're going to go to a call here in the queue. You're live on In My Own Words, the podcast on a Monday. Trying to not get myself worked up, but what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, Steven, how are you?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I'm just looking at this article from Pete Prisco that says Tua apparently doesn't have the fire to succeed in the NFL. I don't get where Pete Prisco's getting this information from, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Stephen, I feel your animosity, and that's really why I even called in, because I wasn't really going to say anything. I was actually just going to listen to that, but kind of got me a little fired up myself. I don't know who Pete. I'm gonna call him Crisco because he sounds like a clown, so we're gonna call him Crisco. Not even gonna call him Frisco. But I've been watching Alabama football for the last 16, 17 years of my life, and I've seen a lot of the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks that came towards the end of the Stallings there, and when Shula was there, and Tua just had some real misfortunes that kind of happened to him. And if anyone would have wanted to kind of lay down and just, give up. It would have been him, considering all the issues that he dealt with, with the injuries, last year, and then what happened this past season, unfortunately, that, cut his season short. But I don't really know where this guy's getting his information from. Like I said, I don't even know who he is. But
I mean, nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't come for Tua is kind of what I'm kind of getting at. It's just not fair. It's really not fair to the young man. He's doing everything right. He's doing everything that Nick Saban's asked of him, all his teammates have asked of him, and he's just trying to do what he can to, advance his family, and do his dream and live his dream of being an NFL quarterback. And one thing that I don't appreciate from any of these guys when they're, evaluating players is when you try to, talk about the character of a guy. If you don't know him, if he's not getting his information from, Nick Saban himself or, somebody who's been around the kid for, months and years, and they're telling these guys that, hey, I don't really think that this Tua kid is really, in love with the game of football, or he just has the pedigree to want. I mean, if you're hearing stuff like that, then that's one thing. But if you're just going off of what you think, and you're being, really just, what's the word I'm looking for?
Assuming,
just
basically,
putting information out. That's just not fair. It's not fair to Tua. It's not fair to his family, because he comes from a really good family. I don't really know him like that, but I see him. They talk about God a lot. He always gives thanks to God. And me as a conservative, I appreciate anytime we can put that out there. But not to get religious or anything. I'm just saying, to talk about a kid and not just keep it with football. You want to talk about the fact that he, struggles in the big games or he's injury prone, and keep it out there. I mean, just talk about it there, but don't go talk about the man and his character. It's just not fair. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to his family. It's not fair to his coaches. Not fair to his teammates. All right. So, like I said, I don't know who the guy is. I appreciate y'all for putting it out there, but I just wanted to, give my thoughts on that because, I was, sitting here talking to my wife about it when you brought it up, and I just had to get it off my chest before I said something and, kind of, took it out on her. So I didn't mean to go off on a little rant there, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out, and appreciate, you continue to give us the information and everything. But, yeah, I just want to throw my thoughts out there, Stephen.
Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call. Tua don't have the fire in the belly. What type of baloney is this, man? Tua got the fire in the belly. Tua, I'm serious. JP, if you're listening to me, JP, write this down in the notebook. Tua Tagovailoa, by year 5, no, scratch that. By year 4 in the NFL, Tua's going to have a Super Bowl. Write that down right now, JP. By year 4 in the NFL, Tua will have a Super Bowl, and we can go back 4 years into the future. We can go back and look at this and be like, well, Steven hit on it, or maybe Steven missed on it. But 4 years from now, Tua will have a Super Bowl, because I believe that this young man is Russell Wilson, is Drew Brees, is Steve Young, incarnated in one human being there. Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in the Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.